Okay, so. Ja, und hier. Genau. Seraphine finden. The markets of Chasm Row have become familiar in the past cycles. Their steaming orange-lit depths. The persistent condensation on each unit's window. The gleam of the amber worker suits. Each contributing to the particular atmosphere of this buried city. But among this, you have noticed other details too. The freelance crews on the hunt for illicit tech, the conversing workers who drop to a whisper when you pass, the light flickering up through floor grates suggesting ever deeper layers. These are the details you have followed to the Rhine Market. A place discussed in hushed tones in dimly lit rooms. And as you drift towards what you know to be one of its entrances, the door bursts open in front of you. A large dark bundle glides out of the door and impacts the metal wall of the passage with an echoing bang. But your eyes are drawn by the imposing figure that hovers in the doorway, bracing himself on the frame. Stay out of the Rhine Market, rat! The man sends an orb of spit spitting after the bundle. The bundle unfolds and you suddenly recognize Seraphine, winded but straightening up to go back for more. You rush up in front of Seraphine, and as you do, he tries to kick off from the wall, back into the fight. You block him, and he suddenly switches his angry glare to you. Stay out of the sleeper. What are you doing? Know when you're beaten, rat. The man calls out. It's time to go home and lick your wounds. Seraphine exhales in frustration, his anger fading, replaced by the stinging pain of his injuries. You watch a perfectly round blob of blood form at the bottom of his nose. Want to explain what's happening? For the record, the man folds his arms. This one started it. He looks between the two of you, snooping around our meeting like a rat. You see his sharp eyes, recalculating the situation since your arrival. I wasn't snooping. I'm looking for someone. Seraphine glares. If you'd taken a minute to talk to me before throwing a punch, maybe you would have got that. The man scratches at his beard, squinting at Seraphine. Say, I believe you. What were you doing at the meeting then? Missing persons ain't our business. What I heard is this is where the Lotic contractors meet. Seraphine sighs. I don't like you hearing that, not at all, and I'm going to need to ask you who told you that later. He straightens up. But yeah, this is where the contractors meet, as if that's anything to you. The person I'm looking for is a contractor. Seraphine's frustration rises again. She uses the cover name Lass. He pauses, desperation entering his voice. Please, I think she might be my sister. Something changed in the man's stance. He holds up a massive hand to silence Seraphine and looks down the passage in both directions. Not here. He retreats through the door. Get in. As both enter, he reaches past you and slams the metal door behind, spinning the locking wheel with one hand. I'm Kirk, he grunts, pointing at himself with a thick thumb. Contractors are my concern, but if Lotic catch us discussing contracts out there... He shakes his head. Turns and leads you down the passage. You pass an open door and you glance inside to see a group gathered in a circle, of them in workers' clothes. They are speaking in hushed voices. One of them exchanges a nod with Kirk. Let's not interrupt the meeting anymore, shall we? He glares playfully at Seraphine, who remains silent. Kirk leads you to the side of a massive vertical metal pipe with a rough hole cut in the side. He beckons you both inside. You descend through the pipe in silence and darkness. Suddenly, you come out through the ceiling of a wide and low hall. As far as you can see, crooked stalls and makeshift shelters dot the grilled floor, lit by scavenged lanterns and light strips. Steam drifts up through the grates, concealing the room so that you cannot see the walls. Welcome to the Rye Market. Kirk gestures a thick hand at the ramshackle interior. Lodik don't know about this place. He smiles. Let's get a drink. He leads you off to a nearby stall with a set of improvised stools welded to the floor in front. He hooks his legs onto one, and you and Seraphim follow suit. He holds up 3 fingers to the stall's owner, and a drink in a straw-pierced packet is handed to each of you. Seraphim looks skeptically at the drink. We friends now or something? Look, Kirk takes a sip. I'm not going to apologize for putting you on your arse. That's on you. But like I said, I represent the contractors, and if someone is part of the family, well, he shrugs his massive shoulders, then they deserve to be heard out at least. Let Seraphim speak. Enough. You know, alas, I saw it in your eyes. Seraphim glares at him. Where is she? Describe her. Kirk leans back on his stool. I'm not giving you anything more until you prove she's your sister. Seraphim closes his eyes. Dark hair, used to wear it long and messy. Bright eyes, broad shoulders. You see a little twitch around his eyes as he recalls. Tough but kind, tattoos, nervous laugh. He opens his eyes and glares at Kirk. That enough? Kirk sniffs. Yeah, that's her. You feel something jump in Seraphim, an almost imperceptible tension rising. It's her, his sister. Plus, Kirk speaks slowly, drinking between, or whatever her real name is. There's one of the contractors here. She's part of the most recent contracts Lodik registered. That means, just tell me where she is, Seraphim demands, his impatience getting the better of him. As I was saying, Kirk gives Seraphim a pointed look. Those new contractors are restricted to the pithead. In fact, that is what we were discussing when you interrupted our meeting. Seraphim looks away in frustration, but holds his tongue. Since the war, the Lodik Syndicate has been trying to lock down Wellspring. They went from a loose association of mining groups to an autocracy and started enforcing contracts with some serious overreaching terms. Your sister, she's one of those contracts. Lodik are acting like they own her, and the others because, according to their contracts, they do, which is exactly what we want to do something about. The cycle, he forcefully taps the bar with a finger. We are voting on strike action and a full blockade of Flotsam. We will bring the syndicate to the table to... Seraphim knocks his drink away and kicks off from the table, disappearing into the market. Go after him. You catch up with Seraphim in the bustle of the Rye Market among the steam and crowds. I can't have been the only one who saw his pitch coming a mile off. Seraphim is bristling with anger. What kind of idiots does he think we are? We should go back. No way. Seraphim glares at you. You heard the guy. He was about to recruit us for his great crusade against the Syndicate. Seraphim starts to push through the crowd towards the exit tunnel. I'm no one's tool, and you shouldn't be either, Sleeper. He shoves his way forward. We don't need to get tied up in this. We just need to get her out. Seraphim forges on ahead, and you get caught in the crowd behind him. As he disappears from view, a heavy hand falls on your back. want to help you, Sleeper. Kirk's bright eyes meet yours. The Syndicate will do nothing for him or for you, trust me. But I need your help in return. Kirk sighs. I want to help. Good. Kirk nods. I knew you would. Kirk places a plastic pass card into your hand. It glints with the mark of the Lodic Syndicate, a blurry ID photo laminated into its transparent interior. This will get you into the pithead. You can see for yourself what's happening there. Don't follow your friend to Lodic. Go to the pithead. Find Lars yourself. He meets your eye. When you do, come back to me and we can discuss how to free her and everyone else like her. If you go to Lodic, if you meet with them, I can't help you. He releases your forearm and drifts back into the crowd, disappearing into the steam and darkness. You float there for a moment, buffeted by the passing people, clutching onto the Lodic pass, trying to decide what to do next. Serafin wants to meet with Syndicate bosses to negotiate his sister's release. He needs your help. Syndicate business. Getting a meeting with the higher ranking members of the Lodic Syndicate is a challenge, but you aren't giving up. Show Lodic pass. With a Lodic pass, like any of the workers or Syndicate members carry, you should be able to gain access. Serafin glides ahead of you into the domed interior of Lodic operations. All around you, different administration units, like shipping containers, are stacked in clumped groups. Each assemblage of containers is marked with a sigil and a color, a marker of the Syndicate's origins as a conglomerate of multiple independent mining crews. But you aren't headed for any of these symbolic modules. Instead, you move towards the central steel gray cylinder, ringed with windows, the main administrative body of the Syndicate's joint operations. The way this gray monolith towers over the other units seems to tell the story of where the Lodic Syndicate has ended up better than any history could. Serafin leads you through the doors into the lobby. He has driven energy you don't remember seeing before, although you wonder if this is how he was in the cycles that led up to your escape. You're not sure you'll ever know. As you both enter, you immediately see a figure waiting for you. I believe you have an inquiry about her. His eyes drift to you and you recognize the sharpness. Ah, we've met before. Glad to see you again. Indeed, Malik raises an eyebrow, though these are not the circumstances I was imagining. So tell me, Malik steeples his fingers. Why do you want this contractor released? Serafin cuts in impatiently. This isn't about us. This is about my sister. The contractor is your sister. Malik looks between the two of you. I see. Well, if you were willing to pay off her contract, I could see that she was released. Don't you pay her? Well, yes, Malik pauses, but she signed for a minimum term. If she were to break this contract, the full value of said contract would become due. He shows you his palms. She knows this. Not to mention that the Stalotic Syndicate has become the chief water provider in the belt since the Inner System War began. All minimum term contracts are locked in until the point Serafin holds up a hand and Malik trails off. Just tell us how much. Malik speaks slowly, burning time. I would need to discuss this with her supervising manager, but we are talking about thousands of cryo and extraction value being lost to... Suddenly a bright and harsh alarm sounds inside the Lotic building, and a comms transmitter on Malik's belt begins to chirp with static and rapid voices. He lifts it to his ear, turning away from both of you. He speaks in hushed tones as you and Seraphin exchange glances. He turns back his eyes, darting between you with new nervousness. I'm sorry, but we will have to continue this another time. There's an urgent situation at the pit head. He turns to leave. What happened? No, you aren't backing out of this. Seraphin cuts you off. Do you know how long it took us to get to speak to someone? I'm sorry, but this is an urgent situation. Malik shrugs apologetically. I need to go. What situation? Seraphin's anger is growing. Malik sighs. A strike has been called at the pithead, effective immediately, and the contractors are attempting to blockade Wellspring. He looks over his shoulder towards the door. It seems they have taken control of some of our tankers. See something change in Seraphin's face, his anger becoming a quiet determination. We can help. He stares Malik down. We can break the blockade. Look across at him, but he doesn't break his stare from Malik. Let him speak. Lodik doesn't need to get their hands dirty here. Let us do it. You see a calculation taking place in Malik's mind, analyzing the outcomes, the advantages and disadvantages. I can imagine your terms. A smirk crosses his lips. But how could you achieve this? There's no way they have enough ships to blockade this place. Seraphin is thinking on his feet. My bet is there's a gap. We just need to find it. Then once we mark the route, it's business as usual, and they can't do a thing about it. A smile slowly spreads across Malik's face. It's a sensible gambit. He pauses. Of course, we'd want complete deniability, but if you find us a route through the blockade, your sister is free. Seraphin nods. That's a deal. You'll need to be able to navigate the debris field. I will instruct our shipfitters to equip you with a hazmat suit. Nice. They will install it immediately. Consider it a deposit for the job. Malik's comms link squawks again. I have to go. You do this and I will give you what you want. With that, he lifts the receiver to his ear and glides away into the interior of the building. Seraphin is silent as you leave, heading back out into the white dome, Lotic members rushing back and forth across it. You really want to break a strike? I don't love it, but since when do we have the luxury of choosing a contract? Seraphin makes for the exit. We do what we can for our own, that's it. As you follow behind, you wonder where this path will take you. Is Malik to be trusted? You don't know, but you have the sinking feeling that you're too far in to back out now. debris field. Last leg sleeper. Seraphim brings the ship to a slow stop near a scattering of asteroids surrounded by rock debris. Over the past cycle, you've been working your way through the maze of the debris field. Your new hazmat suit guiding you on a path large enough for a loading tanker to squeeze through. Now as the field narrows before its terminus, you're at the final thin corridor that will mark the route's end. 3 more beacons, then it's done. Seraphim sighs. He has been unusually quiet on this journey, and you can sense there's something eating away at him with each beacon placed. What's bothering you? He takes a deep breath, and you feel for a moment that he's eager to stay silent, to shut you down. But then something small and significant within him breaks, and he begins to speak. My sister's name. Her real name is Tala. He pauses. And what's bothering me is that in all this, no one could care less about her. Nodik and this council of workers are at war over Wellspring, not over Tala. Not over the people, but over the power. Nothing anyone says can convince me otherwise. He sniffs, and I'm sick to death of it. I'll be happy when we are far away from here, and Tala is safe. That's it. Seraphim goes silent, and the silence grows unbearably. The last 3 beacons are prepped and down in the hold, Seraphim flatly states. Last part of the job is to find 3 good rocks to stick them in, enough to guide those tankers to the open space beyond. Get it done. He leans back and closes his eyes. You slip out of the corridor and glide down to the airlock. Bliss is getting suited up. As much as I'm happy for that, hasn't Lodic gifted us? Bliss sighs. I'm not sure it's worth becoming a strike breaker for. They shoot your look. Feels like we're on the wrong side of this thing, Sleeper, if I can be honest here. We're doing what we need to. Picking sides is a luxury, right? Bliss sighs. Doesn't make it feel any better, though. Juni's quietly getting ready in the corner. I don't agree with everything Lodic does, but the belt needs stability right now. She sighs. Blockading the main water supply during a war, it's opportunism. Lodic and Kirk's council loom large in your mind as you get ready. 2 systems grinding against each other, and you caught in the middle. What more can you do than look after your own? You slide on your suit. Time to finish the job. Secure side, solid or rocky substrate is needed to make sure the beacon on this asteroid is securely fixed in place. Cut to core. A more aggressive approach to finding a site for the beacon is to make one by cutting a shaft into the rock to find the solid core. Scan asteroid. One way to find a solid, rocky part of the asteroid to embed the beacon in is to scan it, but it'll be a slow process. Ist das bei den anderen? Nee. Shielded site. The beacon on this asteroid will need to be shielded from the rain of debris that swirls around this rock. Construct shielding. Rather than battle with the dangerous debris, it may be possible to create a shield for the beacon site out of scrap. Clear debris. This fractured asteroid is surrounded by a cloud of debris. Clearing some of it will help create a safe site for the beacon. Precise placement. The beacon on this asteroid needs to be precisely placed to guide the tankers through the corridor. Reshape rock. Rather than search for a site, you can make one instead, with a torch and some endurance. Search the surface. To guide the tankers correctly, this beacon will have to be carefully placed. That means a search of the surface. And now beacon site has been chosen. I just need to plant the nav beacon that the tankers will use to navigate the corridor. Okay. Sleeper, come to the rig. You need to hear this. The message comes cold and clipped through your comms, and you make a beeline for the ship. As you drift through the debris, you try not to let your imagination get the better of you. Could Lane come all the way out here? Surely not, even though a cold shiver runs down your spine. You rush into the cockpit, your suit still on, to find Seraphine sitting quietly in the flight seat, a voice booming around the room. Sleeper. Kirk's voice crackles. The signal must be traveling some distance. I know that's you. Speak to me, please. Seraphine looks back at you. Looks like our friend is getting desperate. He shakes his head. What do you want to do? Answer. Seraphine presses the transmit button, and you let Kirk know you're listening. Sleeper, I knew you would see sense. Kirk takes a breath. I know what Lodic promised you, and I know you are out there trying to find a way to bypass the blockade. I also know I can't stop you. From what I can see, you have 2 beacons in place, and we have no ships to spare. So be very sure that I am not threatening you. But I do have someone here, someone who would like to speak to you and that scrappy pilot of yours. You and Seraphine exchange puzzled glances. What is he playing at? Sarah? A soft voice comes through the speakers, wavering as it does. Sarah, are you there? Seraphine freezes, his eyes wide, his head down. It's her. It's her sister. Wait for him to speak. You wait. Seraphine does not move. Sarah, I know it's you. I've been looking for you. Maybe you know that too. Another pause. That's how I ended up here working for Lodic. That doesn't matter now, though, Sarah, because Kirk told me what you're out there doing, and that you think you're doing it for me. The transmission stutters and distorts, and you realize it must be coming from Wellspring. Sarah, I would like to tell you to stop. The cockpit is deathly still. The only sound, the rumble of white noise on the open channel. I'm not the only one suffering, and if you support Lodic, then... Seraphine's hand comes down hard on the console, and the transmission goes silent. You hear his breath heavy in the quiet cockpit. Why didn't you say anything? Shut up, Seraphine snaps. Just shut up for a second. He closes his eyes, breathing deeply. That was her. That was definitely my sister. He takes a breath, but that's all we know. Kirk could be manipulating her. He could be forcing her to speak. Seraphine stumbles over his words. We know he will do anything to stop us if... He trails off, unable to complete the thought. I think that's unlikely. Seraphine nods. But we can't be sure. He looks wild-eyed and panicked. What if he is? We keep going. Seraphine shakes his head. We keep going and then we go back. Lodic can get her out. If Kirk has her, they can get rid of Kirk. She will be okay. He's muttering to himself now, and it makes you uneasy. Okay. Seraphine nods. Yeah, he pauses. That's what we came here to do. You back out of the cockpit, leaving Seraphine alone with his thoughts. You won't be manipulated, you won't be betrayed. You will do this contract and Lodic will repay you. As you cycle the airlock, you fix your mind on the final beacon and the hope that this mess will all be over soon. The final beacon is a blip on the ship's navigation suite, and it connects like a thread wound around a series of pins to a route through the debris field. That's it. Serafin inspects the path. Odik will be able to bypass the blockade. He sighs. It doesn't feel like much of a victory. Tala will be free. Serafin nods. That's right. He begins powering up the ship's main drive. That's all this was. You can't think of anything to say, and so you just watch the blinking line being sketched out on the screen. Serafin too seems to be lost for words. Perhaps his mind is on his sister and the reunion that awaits him back at Wellspring. Wellspring is also on your mind, but you aren't thinking about Tala. You're thinking about what crisis might greet you on your return. All you can do is hope that this was enough. Enough to buy both Tala's freedom and your own. You arrive at the pithead after a long journey around Wellspring's docking ring, riding the transit system with a handful of exhausted-looking workers coming up from the cut. The entire journey, Lodic's PA system was announcing the collapse of the strike and the pursuit of the criminal elements responsible for it. Both you and Serafin sat in silence, unable to speak. Even before you arrived back from the debris field, Malik made it clear that you were not to go anywhere near Lodic operations, but you thought you could have if you wanted. The place was swarming with security. It's not that Malik didn't appreciate what you had done for the Syndicate, but at this difficult time he advised you that you'd be best placed to remain anonymous. Based on the violent threats of the anti-Lotic graffiti in your transit carriage, you can see his point. But now, at the pithead itself, you feel a deeper chill. The remains of the failed strike and blockade are everywhere, welded metal being pulled away from windows, graffiti being cleaned from the walls, and everywhere workers with their heads down. You and Serafin find a shaded corner and wait. As you were asked to by Malik to receive your reward for a job well done. You look at Serafin, the tension evident in every fiber of his body. You have barely spoken since completing the job out in the debris field, and neither of you dares to break the silence. Sarah? A soft voice comes from nearby as Tala glides out from the pithead. Tala. Serafin says it like a sigh, like an exhale. He's shaking his head, his eyes already shining with uncontrollable emotion. She stops a little distance from you both, her eyes hooded and tired, something dark and sharp in her look beneath the sadness. You're safe, Serafin nods, taking a breath. You're free. I'm safe, she nods, looking away. Sarah, what have you done? What was needed to buy your freedom? Serafin sticks out his chin stubbornly. Tala sighs. That was Sarah. Sadness plays across her eyes. I thought by now you would have grown up. You see, the statement stings him. You are big, Sarah, bigger than you were, but time has not made you wise. It's just the same, sister. Serafin shakes his head, calling me big, but making me feel small. The moment the statement leaves his lips, you feel the tension rise. He holds his gaze, making sure she knows he meant it. Tala flinches a little, hurt, but not wanting to show it. I came to find you, Tala offers, but I ended up here, and now I have found you. I saved you. The least you could be is grateful. An anger you recognize is growing in Serafin. Kirk told me what you did, Sarah, to buy my freedom. She shakes her head. You betrayed me and my friends. I did not ask for this. We had no choice, Serafin states flatly. Kirk was using you. He's not your friend. I'm your brother. Tala sparks against Serafin's anger. You have no idea. She balls her hands into fists. You come here and claim to act in my name. I do not want it, Sarah. It's too late now. Seraphine shakes his head. What is done is done. Thala smirks. No, I am not done. I may be free, but I will not leave this place with you. I will not run away, as you do. Seraphine takes a breath. Thala's words injuring him now. I see. You bring this disapproval from Mum and Dad? Did you come all the way out here to tell me how everyone is so disappointed in little Sarah? A ripple of emotion runs through Thala, one she can't hide. Sarah, after you left, they're gone. She sighs. I thought you would have. She struggles to find the words. It's been a long time. Seraphine blinks a few times and sets his face into a stern look of control. You're right, Thala. It has been so long, and yet I can remember exactly why I left. Sarah. Thala looks desperate. Please, let's not do this after so long. She softens. I am glad to see you. Really, I am. But I'm staying here. I'm staying until Wellspring is free. Now I'm on the outside. I can be useful to Kirk. I can help those still stuck inside. The Cut is a good place to live, and there's a need for me, Seraphine. A real need. You always did love lost causes. Seraphine is battling with himself. You can see it. His words betraying his fear. I will always love you, Sarah. Thala sniffs. But I'm staying. Seraphine nods. So be it. And he turns and leaves. As he does, Thala watches him go, then shifts her attention to you. You see her scan you, taking in your clothes, the way you hold yourself, your face. For a moment you feel exposed, aware of your damaged vinyl skin, your industrial markings, your doll-like features. You feel the familiar sense of being objectified, but also something warmer below it, a recognition of what you are. You two need to leave. She speaks quickly. I've persuaded Kirk to let you go, but he won't be able to keep your involvement in the bypassing of the blockade a secret. And soon you won't be able to leave. Wellspring will not go quietly, and once you are gone, we will act. She takes a deep breath, her anger fading. She smiles a weak smile. I know you did what you did because you're afraid, you're desperate. She looks down. I know, I won't judge you. But take care of my brother, please. Don't make me regret letting you leave. You look at her, and beneath her sadness you see an anger, a wisdom and an authority. You suddenly realize Thala was no passive victim of this failed revolution. She was an organizer. And as she turns and leaves, heading back into the pithead, you find yourself wondering what her and Kirk's next move will be. Because if you're sure of anything, it is that the fire in Thala will not be snuffed out so easily. On the way into the rig, you pass a tired-looking Eugene. We're heading out, he sighs, because I'm not sure I've got another chit left to wager. How much did you lose? He squints at his fingers for a second, making calculations. Too much, he shrugs. I'll strap myself in for a nap. He disappears into the berths. You find Seraphine in the cockpit of the rig, running diagnostics on the engines. He looks up as you enter and nods hello. How are you doing? You know, I'm actually doing okay. He flicks a sequence of switches, feeling clear-headed after all that. I appreciate you bringing us all the way out here, Sleeper, and I'm sorry I got us tied up in all of that. He checks the flight terminal. I won't forget what you did, but I need to put some space between us and this place. He shoots you a look. I'm sure you understand. I do. Seraphine watches the diagnostics complete and then turns to face you. One thing is for sure. We've been here too long. Seraphine meets your eye. And we've been seen by too many people. Wellspring may be far out of Utspo territory, but I'm sure Lane will find a way to reach his nasty claws out here. Given enough time, let's not give him that chance. Hey guys, this voice echoes up the passage into the cockpit. They lean in the door, looking between the two of you. Some loaded guys just dumped a load of fuel outside our ship. Said it was a gift. You and Seraphin look at each other. Malik. Seraphin gets up. Something tells me Logic once is gone. Seraphin kicks off and glides out of the cockpit. Hey, so... He smiles. While you two have been busy, so have I. Been looking at the Rex drive and I reckon it's due an upgrade. We'll need engine components, quite a few, so keep an eye out. This shrugs. Shipyards tend to be a good place to look. Thanks, Bliss. Those winks. Anytime. They sigh. Better go help Seraphin with that fuel. As Bliss leaves the cockpit, you find yourself lost in thought, considering your next step while the icy expanse of Wellspring glitters below. As an unit, freely travel through debris fields. Okay. Meet a cadet in a scatter yard. Okay. The rig glides safely through a debris cloud, the cockpit empty apart from you and Seraphin. So, Sleeper, I've been thinking. Seraphin gives you a sly look over his shoulder. I've been thinking I'm sick of running. Me too. I mean, even if we want to keep going the way we have been, we've run out of belt. Beyond Wellspring, it's mostly rocks and emaciated scavengers, and, well, I'm a city boy at heart. But not only that, Seraphin meets your eye. We've been building something here, Sleeper. The crew, the ship. He smiles. Hell, we just got this Hasnaf suite for free. He thumps the new unit on top of his flight console. What I'm asking is, how do you feel about taking Lane on? Tell me more. You've seen what's happening in Wellspring, what Tala's doing. He shakes his head. Kirk is a fool, but he's onto something. Get on the inside, organize, undermine, that I can get on board with. Sounds risky. I'm sure it is. Seraphin smiles. He's enjoying this. Just think about it, Sleeper. We find a way back onto Darkside quietly. We make some connections, we start something running. He turns back to his console. It'd be one hell of a thing. Utspo are ruthless. The way they run Darkside, there's gotta be plenty of people fed up with them. Seraphin shrugs. And they've gotten worse on the lane. Worse since they pushed the other gangs out. You smile and shake your head at how fast Seraphin can bounce back when he wants to. And as you do, you can't help but consider his plan. Look, maybe it's crazy, but we need a safe harbor either way. I've got a connection in the scatter yards. He'll tuck us away, keep us quiet from everyone. You see Seraphin has his coin in his hand, and is turning it over between his fingers as he speaks. If we want, maybe we can help us get... maybe he can help us get into Darkside. But even if we don't, it's a good place to rest up and make a plan. It turns back to the controls to deal with a rapid beep from the new HASNAV unit. The Scatter Yards. You've heard of them. They have a reputation as a fiercely independent set of shipyards, just starward of Darkside. A hiding place right under Lane's nose. If you've got things to do elsewhere first, go ahead. But the moment we are back in the wash, Lane will be looking out for us. Seraphin turns his focus back to piloting the ship. As you watch debris flit past the ship, you turn your focus to what's ahead. Okay. Was denn jetzt schon wieder? I saw it. Seraphin comes charging into the bunks. I actually saw it. He's wide-eyed and his breath is ragged. So what? Seraphin takes a moment to catch his breath, suddenly aware of how frantic he sounds. He squints at you. Have you noticed how supplies have been going missing? Every so often when we travel? Oh yeah. I have. You suddenly recall the mysterious mess that was left behind in supply storage. Seraphin sees the flicker of recognition in your eyes. So, after it happened a couple of times, I decided to keep an eye on our supply store. Seraphin lowers his voice. You know, check it from time to time. And just this cycle, I drifted down there, really quiet. He leans in and whoosh, something flew past me. He shakes his head, knocked me right into the wall. Did you get a look at it? Seraphin sighs. It didn't hang around, but it was definitely some kind of creature. Is there really a creature loose on the ship? They look around the berth, suddenly aware that something could be hiding nearby, tucked into the vents perhaps? We know this thing likes supplies, right? Seraphin is also glancing around for hiding places. So we lock them down tighter. Keep it out. That way it'll get desperate. And then Seraphin raises a finger. It'll make a mistake. What are you talking about? Bliss leans in from the corridor. I can hear you all the way in the workshop. Seraphin saw the supply thief. Bliss looks between the two of you with a raised eyebrow. From the way you are talking, I'm assuming it's not human? It's something small and dark. Something fast. Seraphin looks at Bliss. We're going to lock up the supplies to drive it out. Bliss looks at Seraphin. If it's an animal, we don't want to make it any more scared and desperate than it already is. How about we lock up the supplies but leave some out in a special place? Try to bait it. And then grab it. Seraphin mimes the act. No. Bliss looks between the two of you. We show it that it has nothing to fear. We tame it. It didn't seem very tameable. Seraphin rubs his sore ribs. Plus, we've already wasted enough supplies on this thing. You want to give it more? Seraphin turns to you. What do you think, Sleeper? You look between the two of them, still processing the strange situation you find yourself in. Let's try to tame it. Seraphin sighs. What a waste. Alright, Bliss nods. You have to come down to the supply store every few cycles and put out some more food. That way it won't get desperate and do anything dangerous. And I lock the supplies up tight. Seraphin folds his arms. It won't get into them anymore. And that, Bliss and Seraphin leave the berth, heading in separate directions. You watch them go. It seems your ship has a stowaway. The question is, how will you deal with it? Flotsam, it's you. A familiar voice echoes down the tunnel behind you. You turn in the passage to see Femi towering over you. He shakes his head. This just keeps getting better. What's up? Take a guess. He frowns and glances over his shoulder. Remember Nia? That sister of mine you thought you'd take on a contract? Well, she's taken some inspiration from your little trip. You can see anger burning in Fami's eyes, but there's a tiredness there too. He folds his arms across his broad chest. Symbol crash has been in repair since we got out of Hexport, caught up in that whole mess, Fami sighs. So then, stuck here, she gets bored and decides to sign up with another crew, check a job. I said no, and she went anyway. Fami glares at you. But I'm at Hexport. No idea. There was some kind of alert, but we were already on our way out. Didn't give it much thought, then the whole place went up. Femi looks away. Been at the scatter yards ever since. Till we came here, that is. Symbol crash, can't leave right now. I'm halfway through rewiring the damn thing. Nothing else Nia was... something else Nia was supposed to do. I asked around. Turns out Nia signed on with some idiots heading out to Cutter's End. Femi says the name with an emphasis you can't place. They are as green as you, meaning they have no idea what they are doing, going out to a place like that. So you, Femi jabs your chest with a finger, are gonna take me out there to get her. She knows what she's doing. Even if she does, the crews she's with sure as hell don't. Femi frowns. We're not leaving it to chance. Look, I know how these things go. I've got shits I can pay. Femi grimaces. Can't pay for the parts the symbol crash needs, but no one sells them anyway. 250 cryo. Femi folds his arms across his chest. No bargaining. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the symbol crash ready to make the run herself. He sighs. But the shape she's in, it's not the best idea to head out there alone. You suddenly see the desperation in his eyes. He would risk everything for Nia. I'll be waiting. We need to head out soon. Femi grips your shoulder. Don't test my patience. Femi kicks off and glides back along the passage towards his ship. And don't even think about skipping out of Flotsam without me. He calls back to you. Then we're really done. Okay. Stowaway's hunger. Seraphim wanted to provoke the stowaway into revealing itself. If it gets hungry enough, it might just do that. Rather than starve it into action, you could keep leaving supplies out for the stowaway until it is ready to reveal itself. Okay. Some crash. Femi seems ready to take a crippled ship out to Cutter's End. Only you can save him from himself. Was ist denn eigentlich mit Dings hier? Ah, 8 Engine Components. Just carefully slots the components into the prepared drive. The engine is improved as much as you are able to. Okay, 15. Fuel. Können wir jetzt tragen. Okay. So, ja, dann verdienen wir noch ein bisschen Geld. Ja, machen wir den Contract noch und... What the hell is happening out there? Femi is up and out of his seat the moment Seraphim brings the rig to rest near the asteroid known as Cutter's End. That ominous name is one whose origin has become increasingly obvious as you approached through thick clouds of debris and chunks of rock, among which corroded remains of wrecks could be seen floating. Now, as you look out of the splintered and terraced rock, you can't help but feel a slowly growing sense of dread. Look there. Femi comes close to the cockpit glass and points to the terraced quarry cut into the rock. The mind's awake. Look out and see the flickering lights, the glowing dock markers. Femi shakes his head. That's not right. Neither is that. Seraphim nods towards the asteroid, and you see a ship now, tucked into the shadow of the rock, flashing its signal lights at you. I'm guessing that's the crew we are looking for. Visitors, huh? Voice wavers weakly as it comes through the ship's comms. Are you lot friendly? Seraphim glances back at you, raising his eyebrows. It isn't long before you and Femi are suiting up. An agreement having been made between Seraphim and the pilot of the other ship, a man called Baird, to meet in the neutral ground of open space. Femi silent, his anger evident in the way he forces his legs into the trousers of his suit. And then you're out, the vast shape of Cutter's End flickering with strange lights below you, and the pinpricks of the pilot's suit lights slowly coming closer ahead. To a side for sore eyes, see a crooked grin from Baird, framed in the hard lines of his ramshackle spacesuit. What brings you to the arsehole of the starboard belt? His sharp eyes scan you and Femi, checking your suits and gear. We are looking for someone. Baird's eyes flick to you, and you notice a familiar reaction across his face. The acknowledgement that he recognizes you as a sleeper. You don't look like bounty hunters. Baird glances between the two of you and then smiles his crooked smile. Well, he kinda does. He nods to Femi. You brought a freelancer out here? Femi interrupts, his voice flat and direct over the comms channel. Nia, where is she? Baird pauses, considering his answer. The whole crew is down the throat of that thing. Jerks a thumb towards the asteroid. You're welcome to wait. The tone of his voice suggests the opposite. But I'll have you know, we look after our crew. So if you're here to settle a debt, I'm here to take her home. Femi cuts him off. And I'm not waiting. Thing is, big man, Baird grins. They are deep in the quarry on a tip-off. So unless you want to go chasing them around the dark maze of that place, you're shit out of luck. How long have they been? Bed looks over at the flickering quarry, as if he forgot it was there. He looks back to you. Few cycles? He shrugs. Enough. Femi cuts in again. Nia's been gone for a lot longer than that. You're lying to our faces. Femi moves closer to Bed. And we know that Rock has claimed more crews than any other. Bed's smile fades. No need for accusations. Who's to say you aren't trying to jump our claim? Forget this. Femi turns and heads back towards the ship. Bed smiles at you. Big man seems tetchy. Reizbar. Empfindlich gereizt.
Tetchy.
Okay. He squints at the wreck. He's going to get you in trouble. Bed retreats to his ship and you to yours. We need to go in. Femi is impatiently gathering tools and loading them into the airlock. Right now. What's our approach? What matters is our ingress. Femi grabs a cutting torch from the wreck. There's a borehole on this side of the rock. Could get us in under the radar. Or we dive right down the main shaft. Femi meets your eyes. I'll leave the call to you. Junie arrives at the airlock and stares at Femi's angry tool gathering. We're going in then? She gives you a nervous glance. There's something wrong about this place, Sleeper. We need to be careful. Get ready to depart, well aware that you are heading into a situation you don't quite understand. Okay, nee, dann wenn das doch eine ganze Mission ist und so. Machen wir da nächstes Mal weiter.